looks like you added someone that we didn't have. So sorry, we don't have her picture on your.
That's all right. Yep. No, we got a special guest. So we didn't know until last minute, but she was going to be able to be on. But yes, we've got Loida, got Brian here. Looks like, oh, look at that. We got everybody getting up on stage.
Awesome.
Got
Come on up, everyone.
Jason's here. Yep. There's Loida. Yep. Connor
Hello.
Steinbrook.
So Miss Loida. Hello, Brian.
There we go.
Yes,
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hey, Loida. All right.
Hey, so
Brian,
just a quick,
Brian,
can you already hear the feedback? You guys hear that?
Yeah, we're getting back here.
So just a reminder to everyone keep their mic on mute because you're a parent, and because I can already hear myself in the background. Everyone mute your mics, and then when you want to speak, just press the number 1. It'll work as a walkie-talkie. That'll open up your mic so that you can talk, so that we're not talking over each other. It's been the one issue that we've had with panels today, is just kind of everyone talking all at once and then picking up that feedback. So, work?
Got it. Thanks, Candace.
Cool, yes, okay. You guys just get set up, and then I will do your intro here in a minute.
All righty.
Brian, you like this.
All right, I think we're ready. I don't know if I don't think we got to take a seat. We'll all stand.
You're all gonna stand? All right.
We'll all stand for the presentation.
I love it. All right, guys, let's do your intro then. Let's unmute this audience. Make your room a little bigger. All right, welcome back everyone to track 4. Can you hear me? It looks like you're still muted here. All right. Looks like those privacy volumes are off. Can everyone hear me? Give me a thumbs up in that chat box if you can hear me. Yay. Awesome, thank you. All right, everyone come on in. Welcome back to track 4. Good afternoon. Welcome back to track 4. This is the sales track. Today we are so excited to feature Mr. Kyle Handy and his amazing panelists to talk to you today about why content is king. My name is Candace Garcia. I am a staff instructor here on the agent development team. I'm here with some of my amazing teammates today. We're going to be here to assist you in that chat box. So if you're looking for a different session, another track, or anything else schedule related, you can ask us in that chat box below. You can also click on the shareholder icon on the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Before we get started, I want to direct everyone's attention to the slide up behind me, right above my right shoulder here. I want to go over some housekeeping items really quickly. Just remind you all to be sure to keep your mics on mute for the duration of the course. If you've got a question, go ahead and put it in that chat box in the bottom right-hand corner. I'm sure our panelists will get to a Q&A portion of the session where they'll be able to read your questions there. All right, Kyle, I'm ready to hand it over to you, but before I do, just want to make sure to let you know that we're here to assist you. So if you have any technical issues, our team is here. This session is being recorded. And also just wanted to thank you and your amazing panelists. We're so excited. Folks, are you ready to get started today? Give me a thumbs up in the chat box if you're ready. There we go. Give me those thumbs up. All right. So then it is my pleasure to introduce Kyle Handy and his panelists, Loida Velasquez, Brian Casella, Connor Steinbrook, and Chastine Miles.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Candace. And yes, thank you everybody for joining in. It looks like we got over 300 people in the room right now, so that's super exciting. I remember Curtis tasked me with getting a panel together to talk all about content. And when I reached out to the guests that we have on stage today, I was hoping that I could get one of them at least, right? And then fill in with another few. Well, literally all of them were gracious enough to say they would join this panel. And so we've got a absolute monster of a panel up here with me today. If you guys don't know who these influencers are, these YouTube influencers are, they're on Instagram, definitely go check out their channels. You can search pretty much all of their names. Connor Steinbrook, he's got his channel as Investor Army. You can find him on there as well. But super excited to be able to interview them today and ask them some questions on how they've built their content and their audience, and how that's benefiting their business. And then, of course, we'll leave I've got about 8 or 9 questions that I want to ask, and we'll get through as many as we can get through, with still leaving about 5 or 10 minutes for questions that you guys have in the audience for them. So that being said, I'll quickly just give you a brief overview of who they are, and then one of my first questions will ask them a little bit about themselves, so they can share more about how they've gotten into the business and actually specifics to their business. But Brian Casella, it's funny, I actually started my entire content strategy because of Brian. He probably doesn't know that. I haven't shared that with him, but I remember I've been watching his stuff for the last 2.5, 3 years, and yeah, he's got over 156,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. He's had over 12 million video views on YouTube. He's getting about 2,000 new subscribers every single month. And his top video actually has over 1 million views on it. So I'll let him share a little bit more about himself here in a second. But then we also got Loida Velasquez. She has 54,000 subs on YouTube, over 17,000 Instagram followers. She started on YouTube about 5 years ago, has over 180 videos on YouTube, and has over 3 million video views. We got Chasten Miles, who's got 41,000 subscribers on YouTube. He started about 6 years ago on YouTube. But I think, and you can speak more to this, Chasten, about as far as, when you really started kind of producing more of your content. But he's got a lot now lately, 286 videos to be exact, over 2 million video views. And he's getting about 1,500 new subscribers every single month. And then we've also got Connor Steinbrook, good friend of mine out of Texas. He's got 33,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel, and he also started YouTube about 3 years ago, and also has 286 videos. I thought that was kind of interesting that you and Chasten have the exact same amount of videos on your channel, about 1.6 million video views. So that being said, guys, I'm so excited to have you here on stage with me. Excited to hear all of what you're going to share with us today. And I'm going to go ahead and kick things off, and I've got my first question I'm going to bring up on the slides here. It just says, tell us about yourself and why you got started creating content. And we'll go ahead and we'll just start right to my right here. Connor, you're right next to me, so we'll start with you if you want to unmute your mic, and we'll just go down the line.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Can you hear me? Okay. Kyle, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, just want to make sure. Yeah, guys, my name is Connor Steinbrook, and I'm an entrepreneur, real estate professional out of Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. And many years ago, I was at a business model that I was doing great in. It disappeared overnight, and I realized I had one income stream is very risky, and so I needed to go a different path in life, and I wanted to build time and money, so I wanted to build residual income. So I looked out there in the real estate space and wanted to buy rental properties, and started going down that path, and failed miserably when I got into the business. Everything I did wrong, pretty much, and I ended up almost 100 grand in debt. And I ran out of money, but I had time, and so I was watching videos on YouTube trying to figure out how to do the business, and I realized these individuals are building businesses using YouTube, and I realized that I could build WordPress websites, so I started building websites and researching SEO optimization. I built the #1 ranking websites in Dallas for some of the main keywords to buy houses, and at the time Google had just acquired YouTube, so I knew how powerful it was for the algorithms, and so I started building private YouTube channels and linking to my websites. And then back in 2017, I built Investor Army, and it kind of took off, and I used that to grow most of my businesses. And I've just been going down that path ever since then, and ran into Kyle, and here we are.
Awesome, Connor. Appreciate that. Brian?
All right. Hello, everybody. BC here. My name is Brian Casella. If you didn't know, I have been in the real estate business now for about 7 years. Previously, before I got into real estate, I was a professional basketball player. Due to injuries, I had to stop playing and literally reinvent myself overnight. So what I did was I looked at getting an echo from Connor's mic.
Yeah, Connor, can you mute your mic?
No? Cool. Connor. So I had to reinvent myself, and I looked at real estate and said, hey, this is something I think I can be really good at. So I just started doing real estate the old school way, going door to door and, making phone calls. And I stumbled across video pretty soon in my career, and I realized right then, 2013 and 14, how powerful it was. So all I did was just kind of document what I was doing, and it snowballed into what it is today. And it's evolved now into me, helping agents and that kind of stuff. But it really just started me blogging, documenting my journey, and just letting people know what I was doing. And I had a really big chip on my shoulder. A lot of people told me I wasn't going to make it in real estate, and it fueled the fire for sure.
Awesome. I appreciate that. And hey, just a quick tip. I saw this in the chat down below. It says if you press the number 1 button, it actually acts as a walkie-talkie. So if you hold 1 while you talk, then you don't have to remember to unmute and mute yourself. So thank you. Appreciate that. Well, cool. Lloyd, you're up.
Yes, hi everyone. So my name is Loida Velasquez. I have been in real estate for the past 5 years. Prior to that, I worked in marketing and advertising for about 8 years. The last company that I was working at, I was pretty much traveling 100% of the time, living out of a suitcase from hotel to hotel. And it got to the point that I just didn't see myself doing that for the rest of my life. And I wanted a career change. Funny story is that I have known Brian since 2012, and when I saw the success that he was having, I wanted to transition into real estate. He's my boyfriend. We work together now, and pretty much I started doing everything that he was doing, and that's where we're at now. He started doing video. I got into video because I remember when I got into real estate, I would go on YouTube and I didn't really see a lot of women talking about real estate or their experience. So I figured the same way that he was putting out video, I would put it out from a woman's perspective, and that's pretty much how I have grown my platforms.
Awesome, Lloyd. Appreciate that. All right, Chasten, you're up.
What's up, everybody? I am Chasten J. Miles. I'm a agent team leader here out of Dallas, Founders Real Estate Group. There's about 10 of us, 10 sales agent in the industry, 7 years, just like Brian. And honestly, I started creating content because when I first got into this, I didn't know what else to do, and I was just pretty much trying things. So video was one of those things that I wanted to explore, see if it brought some business. So I went to a mastermind where I was literally forced to film videos in the middle of a casino, all watching, and I was about to drop down to my knees because I was so nervous. But that started my video journey, and I've been creating content ever since.
Awesome. That's a funny story. I never knew that. Very cool. Let's move. Oh, sorry guys, I think my mic was unmuting. But all right, so going on to the next question here. What is the number 1 tip you can give to agents that are wanting to just get started with creating content? So we're gonna start small. We're gonna start with people just wanting to get going. Then we're gonna dive in a little bit more advanced as we go on. But this one will be your number 1 tip that you can give to agents wanting to get going. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, what I want to just impress upon you guys is business is done through repetition of attention, and right now the cost of attention is the lowest it will ever be. The internet is a race for market share, just kind of like we're racing for market share, building our EXP teams. And what you need to realize, what social media will do for you, will fix all the problems in your business. The main thing I see entrepreneurs struggle with is lead generation. And then they start to generate leads, but they spend too much money generating those leads. Spend $100,000, make $100,000, you have no income. And then if they do start doing something that makes money, they can't scale it. So this is going to solve every single problem in your business. Lead generation, affordable lead generation, scalable lead generation, and you can retarget individuals. So I would just impress upon you guys to start thinking about what this can do for your business. It can reduce your time into your business, reduce your stress in your business, and scale your business all at the same time. And the biggest thing is, I'll take this before Brian and Lloyd can give this out, is just get going, right? So you have to start. And I see a lot of fear to hop on the internet, put yourself out there, but you guys should have fear in the other direction of what happens if I don't? What happens if someone else takes my opportunity? A lot of you guys sitting in this crowd right now have everything inside of you to do exactly what we're doing on stage. And the only thing that's holding you back is the fear to put yourself on camera. A lot of you guys have great skill sets, huge opportunities for individuals that can follow you. So stop being selfish and go out there and share what you have with the world.
Awesome. Thanks, Connor. All right, Brian.
Yeah. Well, the interesting story that I have for everybody in regards to getting started is when I first started putting content on YouTube, I literally had, at that time in 2013, I think I had an iPhone 6, and I filmed everything with that. I didn't have camera, I didn't have a mic, I didn't have lights, I didn't have any of that fancy stuff. And if you go back on my channel, and I welcome everybody to do it after this session is over, I still have videos up where I have black bars on the side because I filmed the video vertically instead of horizontally, because at that time I didn't know that you had to turn your phone to, make the whole video. So I'm sitting there scratching my head saying, how come I keep having these black bars on the side? And say, hey, dummy, just turn your phone to the side. Then there's other ones where I'm doing a live and I'm speaking, the camera's facing me, but I think I'm shooting like the home or in front of me, and I don't even realize it. And I think it's just a glitch in the phone. So that's the person who is on stage today, the person who couldn't figure those two things out. All right. When I started, it was simply just documenting what I was doing. And wherever you're at now, if you just have a phone, I have this iPhone 11 here, which shoots now in 4K, and the quality is amazing. You have the apps on YouTube to upload directly. I can shoot one video and literally just post it on every platform. So really start where you're at. And once you start producing content, whether it's personal content for the real estate world, for agents, whatever it is, then you can start refining it as you go. However, you have to start shooting. That's how it started with me, and everything else I just figured out later.
Love it. Awesome. All right, Loida, what's your number one tip?
Yeah, so along with what Brian and Connor said, I would say that for anyone that's interested in starting to create content, think of a list, maybe put together a list and narrow it down as to who you want to create content for, whether it's for consumers, buyers, sellers, whether it's for agents, because that's really what's going to help you be able to think of ideas of what type of videos to create. And usually what I like to do is that in one single day during the week, sometimes just on a weekend, I like to film 2 or 3 videos at a time. That way I already have enough content for the following week. So that would be my tip.
Awesome. That is a great tip. Appreciate that. All right, Chasten, what do you think?
My number one tip for is just trying to get started with creating content is, like everyone else said, just to start it. Like I told you all a second ago, I was in the middle of a casino floor, and it was a perfect video. I didn't look great. I was sweating. I was stumbling over my words. And that video is still out on my YouTube channel today because it was a piece of content. And frankly, I didn't want to be recorded. I wanted to be done with it. And that's kind of been my whole thing the whole time. I don't really script my videos. I don't do anything like that, but it's just getting content out there. And so I would recommend just not holding yourself back and getting in your head about how does this look? How do I sound? What I'm saying? But just get something out there to get into the routine of creating content.
Awesome. And it looks like we've lost our slides there. I'll try and get those fixed, but I'll go ahead and just ask you guys the next question so you can get started on that, and then I'll fix the slides. But the next one is, what is your process or workflow for creating new content? And specifically, do you guys use assistants to help you? Are you doing pretty much all of this yourself? What does it look like from when you come up with an idea to where that video or piece of content is published? What does it look like for each one of you?
Yeah, so I do use virtual assistants to handle the outsourcing side of everything, the posting of the content all over the internet, the creation of thumbnails and things like that. And you need to understand that there's really 2 different types of content you can be creating documentation or creation videos. Documentation videos just documenting what you're doing at the property, at the title company, The creation videos where you're actually thinking up a video ahead of time that you're creating as far as a value add to people watching it. And what I do is when I'm at the gym or when I'm running around town, I just keep a little notepad with me or video ideas. And anytime I struggle with anything in my business or I come up against a hardship and I figure out how to solve it, I realize that I'm doing the same thing other people are doing and they may have the same problem I have. So I just create a video addressing the problems that I overcame and how I solved it. And that seems to be attractive to a lot of people out there, is going down the same path.
Awesome. Brian?
Looking back, I'm probably the person who, if you had like a guidebook or a rule book to doing this thing right, I probably broke every rule. I've been doing YouTube now for I think 6+ years, or just video in general. It wasn't until last year, and I don't even think it's been a full year yet, where I hired Jose, who does all my video editing and creates my thumbnails. I did everything myself prior to that. I wouldn't edit my videos. I would just, through the app itself, the video app, I would clip the beginning of me turning the camera on and then turning it off. And I just kind of learned by trial and error. All my views have been organic. So, with me, it's just been process of finally letting go. However, I wanted to say that because it's a testament that you guys don't need all of that to start or succeed, right? I've broken all those rules, like they say. Oh, you need to have the perfect thumbnail. You need to have the perfect tags. You need to have the perfect this and that. All I focused on, my primary focus, was quality of content. If I'm producing for the consumer, it needs to be sharp. If I'm going to produce content for agents or anybody to entertain them, it's entertaining and it's educational. My focus solely 100% of the time was just the quality of the content. And I think that's what's gotten me here more than anything else.
Awesome. Loida?
Yeah, so when I started to put out content, I wanted to put out videos pretty much sharing my experience and what I was going through as I was learning how real estate transactions worked. I remember one of my very first videos, I actually filmed my first for sale by owner call. And what really helped me and I think pushed me to continue to create content was putting aside what other people might think, but because I think that ultimately that's what stops a lot of people from actually putting out video, other people's opinions, what they might say. And now that video, it has over 100,000 views, and I was horrible when I did that first call. But anyone that now goes back and watches my videos can see kind of like the journey and the transformation that I've had from my very first call to a FISBO back in 2015 and where I am now. So the process that I use to film and create is that I do the videos based on perhaps anything that I'm going through that I feel would be beneficial for other agents to learn. My goal is to help anyone, and if they can take a tip from one of my videos and implement them in their business, that's what makes me happy. As for the editing, I still do that myself. I do the editing, the thumbnails. I haven't outsourced that yet. Probably in the near future I will. When I first started doing videos, I was posting a video every single week, and that building that consistency, I feel, is what got me to where I am now. And now I am putting out more content every single week, whether it's 2 videos or 3, and I just want to continue to increase that.
Awesome. I love it. We love when you increase your content, Loida. You got great videos, so thanks for that. All right, Jason, what's your process and workflow?
Yeah, my process has gotten a little bit more refined here lately because, like you said earlier, I've recorded and released over like 200 and something videos, and so I got to a point where I was like, what do I talk about? I felt like I talked about everything, and so I really start by looking for opportunities and what people want. I have like a rule, I call it my rule of 4, and that's FOUR, and basically, who is it for? How do I know it's for them? What will it do for them? And have I experienced it for myself? And so I just think about that whenever I'm about to record a video. I don't do scripts. I do, however, point my video so that way I know what I'm kind of wanting to talk about. I like to speak naturally. I don't like to use a script or anything like that. So I speak from the brain, just my knowledge. And one big piece of advice for the process is to just pretend like the camera is a person that you're having a conversation with. I don't want my videos to be like advertisement. I want them to be a conversation that I'm having with somebody. From there, I do minimal editing and I upload it, and that's it.
Awesome, great tip. I love that too. The four. So you'll have to probably put that in the notes, or we'll have to get that. I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to hear that again. But all right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one here. And some of y'all have already kind of talked about a few mistakes, but I'll ask this question: what is the number one mistake, or we can say it another way, lesson learned when creating content or even just building your audience?
I mean, when we're business owners, it's a very fast-paced lifestyle, and one of the things that I messed up on early when building my channel was not getting ahead of my posting pattern. It's important that you stay consistent on social media. Once you have attention, you don't want to lose the attention. And if I had been batching videos, meaning, for example, posting 2 videos a week, that'd be 8 a month. I try to stay a month ahead of my posting pattern so I don't feel rushed to create content. A lot of people film videos the same day they post them. And that's just going to create bad content because you're feeling stressed out that you have to get a video out, not because you planned a video out and prepared a quality video. You're just doing it to rush it out. And so I realized if I got ahead of this and I started creating content ahead of time, that I would never feel that pressure from day to day, and I could create better content. And I think that was one of the biggest mistakes I made, was just trying to do videos live time as the week went through or went on, and it created a situation of chaos for me.
I am currently making that mistake myself right now, and I totally get what you're saying, so I need to fix it. And I know that I need to fix it, so I appreciate you saying that, Connor. All right, Brian.
So if I was going to narrow down one of the biggest mistakes that I see that I've made myself, and I see most people do, is we tend to make the mistake, in particular with video content and just any production on social media, of taking advice from people who are not qualified to give you advice. You go to produce a video, or maybe you tell the people that you know, hey, I'm going to make a video, or you show them the video immediately because of the way they're wired. They're going to start critiquing your video or say you should do this or should do that. 99 out of 100 times, it's always the people who aren't producing content and who have no business giving you advice that you're considering their advice. So let's say you watch Connor, Loida, Chasten, or me, and we give you an applicable piece of advice, and then Joe Schmo next to you tells you should do it this way. It would be incorrect for you to weigh our opinions equally, because we on stage here have proven results. The people giving you advice in that case don't. So what I would say is be absolutely certain that whoever you're basing your strategy off of and who you're listening to, you anoint them in your mind. This is my figure for social media or video. Anyone else who tries to just give me left side advice or right side advice and try to throw me these curveballs, you can listen to them, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have to weigh their opinion or advice the same as the people that you deem the authorities that you're going to take advice from.
Totally agree. Yeah, there's so many people that still don't understand YouTube, or even how, creating an audience benefits, people. And it's funny, they're like, well, YouTube videos, like, why does that even, help or whatever? And you just hear so many weird, things out there, so many different opinions. And yeah, you definitely got to get it from the people that are doing well, because it's life changing. I mean, when you start going down this path, it can truly change your business. So Loida, what's your number one mistake?
The mistake, I would say, especially in the beginning, is kind of mixing up a lot of different content on the channel instead of just focusing on one theme. I think especially when you're starting out, you're kind of thinking, well, do I want to do vlogs, or do I want to do interview styles, or am I going to target consumers, or who it is that I want to do? So sometimes I just see like a combination of a whole bunch of different things, and it might confuse an audience or people that are watching your videos. So that would be my tip, and the mistake that I would want others to avoid. Just stick to a theme, especially in the beginning, to get yourself out there and become recognized for a certain topic that you talk about, or a certain genre, I guess you can say. That way, once people continue to come back and subscribe and see that you're putting out a certain type of video, then eventually you will start growing your audience, and then you can kind of branch out and do other little things.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, that is a huge, huge tip. So I hope everyone took notes on that one for sure. All right, Chasten, what's your thoughts here?
Yeah, so the one mistake or lesson that I've learned when I'm doing video and trying to get good at it and then wanting more views, I started to try to be like everyone else or try to be other creators. Like, oh, they have this many views on this video, like maybe I need to talk like that, or maybe I need to do what they did in the video, and that was completely wrong. I wasn't being authentic to myself, for it wasn't coming off authentic on camera, and so I really had to tune out all that other stuff and just be me, like use the things that I use, do the things that I want to do, worry about what people are going to say about it, because you're going to lose followers, you're going to lose views. Your true audience and your true tribe is going to follow you, and they're going to love when you're being that authentic person. So that's a huge lesson for me, and I'm so glad that I took a stand just like my own content creation and my own channel to not try to be like everybody else.
Agreed, 100%. And it actually makes it more fun when you do that too. I think we'd all agree, because when you're trying to do something that's not in your style, or if it's like being somebody else, trying to do like what they're doing, it's tough. It's unnatural, and you don't want to do it, and you won't be consistent with it because you're not having fun. So totally agree with that. All right, cool. Well, then the next one we're going to talk about is give me a recent change or just something that you're doing new with your business or your content strategy, ways that maybe you're monetizing your audience, things that you're doing recently, something that's happened recently that's made a positive impact for your business. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, so guys, when you start your channel, you're just going to kind of throw things out there to see what sticks. And as you grow your channel and you start to add 50, 100, 200 videos, you start to have a lot more data, and you can start looking at the data. And I didn't do this early on. In the past 6 months or so, we started to really study the analytics using tools like vidIQ and TubeBuddy. You guys can look into those out there. And studying when's the best time of day to post, morning, evening, what day of the week. For example, real estate channels or entrepreneurship channels get a lot of views early in the week. That Monday morning warrior ready to conquer the world, as compared to like someone who's doing skit videos or funny comedy videos, they seem to get more views on like Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, if that makes sense. And so we just really started studying when the best time to post videos was, and we just kind of changed our posting pattern, and that seemed to help the views tick up.
Awesome, Connor. All right, Brian.
If I can look at anything that I've really implemented, we can say on steroids, that has helped tremendously, especially lately, is I do what I call putting people on. And what I mean by that is I'm constantly shooting content, interviewing, talking to, and collaborating with people in and outside of the real estate space. Because number one, I'm having fun doing it. Number two, I get to involve my personal life and interests into it. And number three, I'm tapping into audiences and people that I otherwise would not be able to tap into. So one of the questions here asking, building an audience. I think the proper question is, how do we create an audience? Created from your creation, which is your content. Creator, the word is there. So what I do is, I don't care how many followers somebody has. I've been approached by many people, some who may actually be in this room right now listening, do podcasts, collaborations, and I've done it with them because I appreciate that hustle and I want to support them. So me focusing in more on that has gotten me more brand recognition, more loyalty, and more viewership and access to people that I otherwise would never have gotten access to, just because I'm putting other people ahead of myself. And what I do is I just look for people who vibe with me, who have the same beliefs and philosophies, and who I would consider a possible friend or somebody who I resonate with if I listen to them speak or I watch their content anyway. And when I took that approach, you're surprised how many people will say yes, regardless if you have 1 follower or 1 million followers. And I really think it's one of the best ways to get your name out there, open yourself up and your brand to new people and really just supercharge your growth.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it becomes, like I said, it's even more fun when you can, network and meet people that are doing either what you're doing, or they can do something that helps your audience, and they're willing to jump on camera with you or do some kind of piece of content with you. It is an amazing feeling, especially when you can publish it, they share it with their audience, and you get all sorts of different eyeballs on things that you might not have gotten otherwise. So love it. All right, Loida?
Yeah, so something that I have done, and ever since I started my YouTube channel, I always made sure to put my Instagram handle on there to kind of cross promote and bring people to my Instagram. And the way that I have changed things up recently is that because I have built my Instagram to the 17,000 followers that I have, as a way to give back to them, most of which are realtors or entrepreneurs or in business, is that I have started a series every Wednesday going live called Wonder Woman Wednesday, where I specifically feature women in business and different type of industries that provide value to the people that are watching me and that are tuning in. And I have seen that that has been a great benefit, both for the people that tune in and also for the people that I have on there, just because many are, this would be kind of like their first time going live or being exposed to another audience. And at the same time, just like Brian mentioned, it's a great opportunity for me to be seen by another audience that would otherwise have no clue who I am, that might not even be interested in real estate, but now because they have seen me with somebody else that they look up to or follow, now if they ever have any real estate questions, I'm going to be the first person that pops up in their head. So it's just kind of leveraging your audience in all of the other platforms outside of YouTube.
Perfect. All right, cool. Chasten?
Sure. A recent change that I've done to my content strategy, and I actually saw Brian. I mean, he did a phenomenal job of this, but it's really building a community or a tribe with the people who consume your content, and that's something that I wasn't doing before. You know, I was uploading on YouTube, I was growing my Instagram, but I was very disconnected from people in a sense of, you know, we have that personal connection. So I went to one of Brian's events last year, and it just really blew my mind how this stemmed from just a YouTube channel, and not to minimize it, but it stemmed from creation. So really connecting with my audience. So I've done lately, I've been moving people into Panelist and even like private Facebook groups and getting on live more to just really build that connection with people who want to have a more personal connection with me. And that has done great things for my content, for my brand. It's even with my EXP business. I know we're going to talk about that later, but you know, really just being a normal and real person instead of just that person behind the camera that's totally disconnected from real life and the audience.
Awesome. Yeah, that's huge. That is, and when you can build an audience and a tribe, that's such a good word for it, where like literally, you know, they're tuned into you, they're appreciative, and you are responsive to them. It really becomes this dynamic thing where, you know, you don't want to let it stop. And so, you know, you got to get to that point by just showing that you're willing to put the work and the effort and the consistency in for, you know, as long as it may take. And you know, sometimes that's 50 videos, sometimes that's 100 videos, to, you know, before your tribe really starts to see that you're real and they're willing to give you the time of day. But then once it happens, then I'm telling you, it's so much fun and you don't want to let it go. So, all right, cool. All right, the next one is, what systems or strategies have you developed to manage the byproduct of what your content has created? And so this is kind of a long question. It's basically summing up, you know, once we all know that, especially at your level, you guys have a lot of influence. You've got a lot of people that are tuned into what you're doing, and I'm sure there's a lot of benefits from it. People reaching out, you know, how do you manage? Are there systems put in place, or what do you do with all of the people that might outreach to you or that might offer you business? Give us some insight into that.
Yeah, so time is obviously the most important thing that we have. And so time management has always been big on my thought process when I built my businesses. And so one of the things I do to create systems is I have a delegation list. And multiple times a day, I actually used to set my alarm to go off every hour on the hour, so that when the alarm would go off, it would snap me into a present moment of focus at that time. And I would say, is what I'm doing right now the best use of my time? Is this a task or an activity that I should be doing as a business owner, or should I be delegating this off to an assistant or to a virtual assistant that can do this for me? And now we create a delegation list. And when it comes to creating content, pretty much all I do is I create the raw footage or the raw content, and I send it out to my virtual assistants. They're going to edit it. They're going to create thumbnails. They're going to do any pop-up overlays, anything like that. And then we put a bunch of call to actions in the videos, driving them to web pages, funnel pages. And then once people do reach out, I have my emails screened as well as my social media accounts screened by one of my assistants, just because it would take too much time to always look at those. And plus, one of the things that I see a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with is they're reactionary, meaning they react all day. So I really try not to read emails. I try not to read texts, and I try not to pick up phone calls. I try to only call people. So I always say it's not rude to not pick up. It's only rude to not call back. So I'm always trying to protect my time any way I can and make sure when I'm going throughout the day, I'm doing things with focused attention, not just doing it and killing time and doing activities. So if you guys are going to try to scale this as well as scale your businesses, you're going to have help and support. It's going to reduce your time and your stress doing it. So you should get virtual assistants and have them handle kind of the distribution side of it.
Awesome. Great. Brian?
Because of my style of, shoot 10 times and then aim, I learned a lot of this the hard way. Building an audience and doing your content creation, and you really start going out there on social media, just like anything else, you're going to start getting a lot of messages and interest for whatever it is that you're putting out. So somebody like myself who runs a real estate business, I'm going to be now attracting not only the consumer, but other agents who not only follow me for my personal brand, but also who may want to know where I'm at and possibly send me a referral. Then on my personal side, it's the same thing. People want to reach out to me to book me to speak. Some people want to reach out to me to buy a product or join my coaching. So effectively, the word that we can use here, I think, and something that you need to create is a funnel, right? So you can use ClickFunnels, which I hired a guy to help me to collect emails and all that stuff. Or if you're not at that level yet, you can simply say, okay, as people come in, how am I going to set it up to effectively funnel them to the right place? Am I telling people to go to this certain website? Like anybody interested in discussing with myself or my team a referral or real estate, we send them to teambcsold.com. You hear me announce that in every video and on every podcast. If somebody wants to go and reach out to my personal brand, I tell them, go to briancasella.com. I make it very simple. However, you need to understand that you need to have that process set up. So if you want to send somebody to a website or send them to a particular email to send you an email, it needs to be set up in a simple fashion. We're in a day and age now where if people have to put in a little bit of effort or maybe click twice instead of clicking once, their attention span is like a fly and they're going to go somewhere else. So think, as I create this and it grows, where are people going to go? Where can I direct them? And then from there, everything is going to start falling into place. Then you can do what Connor mentioned of getting an assistant. We have a full-time VA at this point, and she's incredible, and we've delegated a lot of stuff to her. So any business inquiries coming into the team, they go to info@teambcsold.com. She handles those emails, and then so I just keep it really simple.
That is a huge tip. I remember, that in the beginning, I felt like things had to be so well done, professional, and complex almost. Like I'd have 100 different calls to actions. They'd require 100 different, links to places, and it was so hard to keep up with things. And now, literally over the last 6 to 9 months, I've just made my complete, business funnel so much easier. I've got like 3 different calls to actions. They can go to 3 different spots, and that's it, right? Like there's just, so when you're just getting started, don't think that all of this is super complicated. Figure out what your number one objective is. Have a very easy to do funnel, like Brian said. It could just be as simple as have an email address set up that separates people, from your regular email, just so you can see when something comes in from that. And then it can get as advanced to ClickFunnels when you want to, go out there and hire someone or learn that platform. And but either way, that you can keep it very simple. But I love that tip, Brian. Appreciate that. All right, Loida.
Yeah, so I would pretty much repeat everything that Brian just said, because that's exactly what I do as well. We have the email, I have the website to kind of guide people depending what it is that they're looking for. And that has worked for me over the past few years. I think the simpler you do it, the better, because if you try to get all fancy, it confuses people. And sometimes, even though things might be self-explanatory, you will still get people that are confused as to what your website is or how they can reach you. So yeah, especially in the beginning, an email, giving out an email address where people can contact you directly for any questions in regards to real estate, buying, selling, or whatever. and a website where they can find you if they want to look up more information. That's ultimately what would be good. I know that on my website, I also have a feature where people can sign up for a newsletter if they want to continuously get information from me. So if somebody is really interested, they will fill that form out. And if not, it will kind of weed them out to also not be just another email that you're sending out, but nobody's opening.
Awesome. Very good. All right, Chasten.
Sure. The systems that I have put into place, I do have a virtual assistant that I've had for probably around the last year and a half. I found him on Upwork.com and just placed the ad on here, and we've been working together for a very long time now. So I am big on repurposing content because I'm running a business here, so I don't often just have a lot of time just to constantly be behind the camera. So I'm big on repurposing content. He helps me a lot with that. So chopping up videos and putting them in other places. I do have a funnel. So funnels are super huge, and I'm glad that everybody follows up. I use a website called Kajabi.com, and on Kajabi I can manage the whole mailing list. I can send an email blast, but I can also distribute content through different funnels. So on my website, people will either go the agent route where they want information on building a real estate business, or consumer route, and we filter those as well. So the VA definitely goes a long way in the funnels, and I really hadn't need to add anything else or change anything.
Awesome. Well, very cool. I'm going to skip the next question because we've got, I want to ask this one question, and I still want to get a couple questions from the audience. And the last guy went over like 10 minutes, so I'm going to assume we can go over 10 minutes too. So we got 10 more minutes right now. So let me jump to this next question here, and then we'll take some questions from the audience. All right. So how do you leverage the eXp Realty model to take advantage of what you're building?
I mean, the cool thing about the eXp model is it's allowing us to get away from the geographical restricted handcuffs, I guess, normal independent brokerage or smart brokerage operates alongside, I guess you could say. And the platforms that we have with social media allow us to get our reach out all across the world, really. And so it's allowed me to expand our revenue share team now into, I think we're going into our 30th state just in a little over 2 years. So it's given me the ability to get a voice into other markets, and now partner with people that have been following my channel for years, and actually get to work with some of these individuals. So it's been kind of interesting to see some of these people that follow my channel that I never knew before. And then when I joined eXp, they realized that they can now work with me across state lines. And now not only do I have some new partners, I have some really good friends. And so it's been a huge opportunity to be here at eXp. You guys are at a great company. If you're looking at the company, I would definitely get with whoever invited you and sign up right away. And it's just given us a huge opportunity to leverage what we were already doing with social media, but build a business now internationally.
Awesome. All right, Brian.
No, when I look at eXp, like when I joined, I think immediately as other people started joining as well, but in particular in regards to social media, it kind of made everybody's ears stand, and they're like, wait, okay, Brian joined eXp. Prior to that, and then even a couple years before, people were still looking at eXp like, who's going to go? It still looks new. But when you saw people on the stage come over and saw the quality of people coming to the company, it became apparent very quickly that this was really, really good. So when you look at what we're doing and you look at kind of what we're doing on our platforms, eXp in a sense is like that same type of evolution just in the real estate world. So it further solidifies the brand. And as far as like revenue share, it's been great. You know, I think I'm number one in the company or close to it for people who has recruited someone in personally just because of my social media. I look at a lot of the freedom that I have compared to being at other brokerages where it seems like eXp doesn't get in my way. And I think everybody here on stage and many of you feel like, you know, the traditional broker kind of gets in your way. And I don't feel that with eXp at all. It's just been great. And they support everything that you do. So overall, it's just been amazing. And I really believe that we are, in a sense, in the virtual world outside of this cloud. We're kind of like the frontline representations of this company and what it's doing and how it's staying ahead of the curve. Because now look what happened with the coronavirus. They're telling everybody, oh, you got to go virtual, you got to do Zoom, you got to do that. We've been doing this stuff for years, and now everyone's trying to scurry and catch up when we've been doing it forever.
Yeah, and Brian, I don't know if you mind sharing with everyone as far as like you mentioned being the number one person who sponsored agents. If you don't mind sharing how many people you've sponsored, because I think it's pretty impressive to hear this and what's possible. But then also, I think it's important to note too that Brian had mentioned earlier, as far as not only just that it's great for the revenue share side of this business, but he's also gotten a ton of referrals, I'm sure, from a lot of EXP agents that follow him on his channel as well. So why don't you just share real quick, if you don't mind, that number, and then we'll go to the next person.
Not exactly sure of the. I believe it's 92 or something like that. Like I'm not 100% certain. And the referrals have just been, I mean, out of this world. We just actually wrote an offer yesterday for a $3 million home for a referral we literally got an hour before that.
That's awesome. 92, and that's front line. That's like people he's individually sponsored. So that's very impressive, guys. I think that definitely puts him at that number one spot. So, all right, Lloyd, you're up.
Yeah, I definitely feel that everything that EXP has offered thus far and ever since I joined is something that is of so much value that I have been able to connect with a lot of agents, whether it's through my social media platforms or even just going into the world. There's been many times that I'm in here and somebody knows who I am because they watch my videos. And also, just kind of like what Brian was saying, the fact that right now, the situation that we're in, EXP, I feel like it doesn't really affect us because we have been virtual. We can just come in here if we have a question on a transaction and just speak to someone on the spot. So that is something that I want everyone to know. So just having access to the resources that we have here and using my social media platforms to share that with the world and make sure that people can see the value in transitioning if they're at a place that they're not happy with, it's definitely a plus. And just like you mentioned, Kyle, the referrals, I mean, I don't have as many subscribers as Brian, but we're still seeing the same type of referral activity coming from agents just because they see that we're putting out good content, it's great information. And ultimately, if they have a client, they want to make sure that an agent that knows what they're doing is going to get the job done. So overall, it has put us in a great position and just following the EXP model and everything that it offers.
Awesome. Great. Well, very cool. Chasen, you're up.
The referrals have been huge, just like Lloyd and Brian said. But the biggest thing that I feel like is it's made it very easy. Not that just agent attraction is just super easy, but it's been very easy to have that conversation. Because I'm so authentic and just transparent, so people ask me questions about my moves and why'd you go here, why'd you go there, and so I'm able to share that information. So far, I've been at the firm for I just hit a year in May here, and on my front line, I'm sitting at 49 right now, just because of me sharing my story, sharing what I like about EXP, sharing the things that I've experienced since I've been at EXP. And so I've set up an easy funnel for people to, have a conversation with me where they can schedule it directly on my calendar. And so there's a good amount of inbound just prospects and people wanting to, get a personal opinion about EXP. And so it's been really good in that sense. And I'm going to continue just to share my experiences and, just put this out as possible.
Awesome. Very cool, guys. Well, that was the last question I had. And one thing I want to say before we'll take a couple questions from the stage real quick. I think we're going to kick us off in 4 minutes here. So type your questions into the chat and we'll pick one of them out and answer it real quick. But one thing I think is really cool, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure everybody up on stage, outside of myself, but Connor, Brian, Loida, and Chasten, I think this is all their first time being on the stage here in EXP World, at least like the main auditorium stage. But if you guys think that you'd want to see them out here again, or hear from them up on the stage again, definitely give them some love in the chat and let them know that you want to see them and you got some good information from this. All right, very cool. We got some hearts. Let me see here. But length of videos. All right, that was the first one that I saw. Real quick, we'll run through these as fast as we can. Connor, length of videos.
I mean, it's going to vary depending on what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish with it. But if you're trying to monetize your channel, it needs to be over 10 minutes long. You can run multiple ads on it. Once you get past 10 minutes, it's a little bit harder to get watch time up. So podcasts, you're going to see a lower watch time than like a 10-minute video as compared to a 4-minute video. I see the length of video that works for me best is like 10 to 12 minutes because we do monetize them. I think it's like just long enough that you can get a full message out, but it's not so long that you're going to lose the attention of people watching it. I just think anything after 12 minutes, I see a huge drop off as far as watch time goes, and that's going to hurt the video as far as the algorithms ranking because they do track that.
Awesome. Brian, what's your ideal length of video?
So I just want to say, Kyle, I know we don't have too much time for Q&A, but if you want me to jump on stage for like an hour or two some other day, I'm totally open to answer more questions and just do that. So when it comes to length of video, okay, this is kind of my take on it, right? I've been playing around with that, and videos that I thought weren't the right length or too short or too long did well. Then the ones that I scientifically studied and said, okay, this is perfect, I'm going to make it 9 minutes and 36 seconds and it's going to be great, they didn't do that well. So I really think if I'm going to use a rule of thumb based on my experience, if you're going to sit in front of the camera and just speak and not have much editing or transitions, for the most part, unless you have an audience built already, you probably do want to keep them shorter. I'd keep them under 4 or 5 minutes personally. Now, if you're going to do something that has more editing, right? Like I did, I'm doing like the little Team BC reality show. Then I think because that's more entertainment and there's cuts and transitions and editing, you can probably get away with that being longer because people are going to stay engaged with it more because they know, hey, I'm sitting down to watch a TV show in a sense, right? So I wouldn't even really worry about that, guys. I would just get your content out and then you'll start seeing, because my thing is get the experience, create, then you'll get the feedback and the data that you need to then assess your next moves. But you have to gather data first from the experience of doing it. And if you don't, then you can sit there and analyze all day. So I would really just recommend you start getting out there and then you can start figuring it out as you get feedback.
Awesome. Well, guys, all right. Well, we got to get going. I really appreciate all of our guests here, Chasten, Loida, Brian, Connor. Yeah, like I say, guys, you guys amaze me in just your willingness to be able to jump up on stage. We kind of put this all together just in the last few days. And I honestly didn't think we would get all of these here on the stage today. And Brian, I'll definitely take you up on that offer. And anybody else that's willing, Loida and Chasten, Connor, love to get you guys back up here. I know there's a lot of people in the audience that want to hear from more from you guys. So thanks again. And until we meet again up on the stage or maybe in person one of these days, I really appreciate y'all's time and being here.
Thank you so much, Kyle. Appreciate you. Appreciate all of your amazing panelists. All right, folks. Thank you so much. Please make sure you complete that survey. Show Kyle and his panelists some